She used to ask a lot, ask the smallest questions, but the questions tried to bind the two people in this marriage. But day by day, he only answered with indifferent eyes, looking and then passing by without taking it to heart. He answered with silence and continued to look at his phone. There were times when he answered, but it seemed like it was just a perfunctory way to get it over with. Gradually, she stopped asking, not because she didn't need it, but because she learned that when she had to ask for attention, it was no longer love. At first, she still tried. She chose the food he liked, prepared for him each slice of bread, each cup of milk in the morning. She wore the dress he used to compliment, even the nightgowns from the first years she wore again, so that she could motivate him to compassionately recall old memories. She talked about her feelings during the day, hoping to hear a few words of concern again. But all the response she received was, "Yes, why do you talk so much? I have a meeting tonight. You take care of the child yourself." She used to want to share, but every time she opened her heart, she received a wall, and so she closed the door. Love does not die from a big blow. It dies slowly, from thousands of small indifferences, like needles piercing through trust. Silence is not acceptance. It is the last way out, when all words have become meaningless. He thought she was silent because it was okay, and he continued like that. Actually, that was when she felt the most invisible. Before, she texted him just to tell him how happy she was today and wanted him to share and comfort her like his little princess. Now, she doesn't text anymore because that happiness is no longer shared, but instead it is indifference or a haphazard answer. Before, she called to hear his voice before going to sleep. Now she quietly turns her back, hugs herself to sleep. Sometimes tears want to fall, but she holds them back. He sleeps peacefully. He sees that she doesn't complain about anything, but little did she know. He was no longer on the list of important people she wanted to talk to. There was a period when she still loved, but no longer demanded, because she understood that care, if it had to be asked for, would no longer be valuable. She still took care of the house. She still smiled at her children. She still played the role of a wife. But the part of the woman in love, in her, was gone. She no longer asked, "Do you see anything different about me?" No longer waited for, "Are you done with work yet?" No longer texted, "I miss you." He thought everything was fine, until one day, she really no longer wanted his attention. That was the most dangerous day, because when a woman stops wanting to be near him, it means her heart is leaving him. Have you ever stopped, looked into your wife's eyes, and asked, "Are you okay? Really okay?" That question, if it comes in time, can save a marriage. She never needed much, just to be listened to be held when tired, to have someone look into her eyes and see clearly. A woman stops asking for your attention when she realizes she deserves more than being ignored. Love is not endured. It needs to be nurtured by the eyes, by the hand, by the small questions every day. And if you see that she has changed, remember, it is not because she has changed her mind, but because you have closed her heart.